Hello, everyone. It's Jay Pilon back at it again with today. I'm going to be talking symbolism. I don't normally talk symbolism. Normally, I'm showing off the baseball cards. These are some customs I made of Bobby Wine. Don't normally talk symbolism because on my channel, I don't think a lot of people tune in
Normally,
for
I'm
that. Oh, let me get this
showing off
echo
the
off over here on the
baseball
side.
card.
I appreciate everyone for coming through, coming in. Hi, Mom. How are you? Love you. Um, So I got the Super Bowl coverage on. They started it really early, haven't they? They got the Super Bowl coverage going since 8 in the morning this morning or something like that. So I've had the Super Bowl coverage going on for quite some time now, checking it out, seeing what it was all about, watching for the little code words. Marcus Speaks in the building. Salute to you. Steph Colonel in here. Salute to you. We're gonna get into some fun decoding. I don't have anything to throw up on the screen. Sorry about that, because it's just some impromptu stuff. I wanted to go over symbolism first and foremost, and some cool stuff about it too, because a lot of people aren't going to be talking about it. You're only going to get it over here on this channel right here, Jay, with Jay Pylon. I'm the only one that's going to be discussing this stuff. You're not going to hear it from Zach. You're not going to hear it from my buddy Chikozy. Now you're going to get it out of me though for right now if you're into that kind of thing. So let's start with 2023. What does it represent? A lot of it represents Asia. 2023 is the year of the black rabbit. It's also the year of the black water. Dual symbolism, both of it being black. And we are in Black History Month. So for the Super Bowl, we get two black quarterbacks. We get Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes. It's dual symbolism, as above, so below, what they call that in Gnosticism. You'll be seeing doubles, you'll be seeing twins. What do you see off the bat when you get into this game? You see doubles with their scoring. The Chiefs scored, or they have this record of 16-3. The Eagles are 16-3. You just see double with that as well. The points scored were 546 by both teams. You're getting this double vision type of thing in symbolic terms. This will be the first time in history that two brothers playing for opposing teams will meet in the Super Bowl. Kelsey versus Kelsey. This is also being dubbed the Kelsey Bowl. It's also a period of time in which identical Asian twins, identical Japanese twins, were reunited after 38 years. One is a fan of the Eagles, one is a fan of the Chiefs. The brothers are 64 years old. Now, these numbers are very important. So, the media, whenever you're watching the media, they'll give you a lot of these numbers. Some of the numbers of importance are, of course, 57. It's 57 representing this is Super Bowl 57, LVII in Roman numerals. And you also have this entire narrative of double things, everything going to be double vision because of the year of the black rabbit and the black water. You're also getting this pattern of 38. So 38 is going to be very important for the narrative of numerical symbolism going forward, as well as the number 64. Well, 64% of Super Bowl games will have series have resulted in back-to-back possessions resulting in scores. That goes into the 64. The news media talking about the brothers who are 64 years old. They're twins, twin brothers. You're seeing double. The media also brought out twin Asian elephants. They brought out these twin Asian elephants that one picked the Eagles to win, one picked the Chiefs to win. The recently you had Damar Hamlin and his injury. He was thought to be using a twin or a body double. A lot of people went into that saying that they thought it was the twin or the body double at that game, which they denounced and said if you thought that they were crazy. But remember, they were filming him from behind his back. They were filming him from very far away with snow all obscuring his face so that you couldn't see his facial features. So you didn't know if that was Damar Hamlin or not. Uncle Hotep called it. He said that they're going to be using that as like a psyop to say, look, we got you on this one. It's again chess, not checkers. And I think that they pulled that off expertly well. They went ahead and went with the okey doke. People were caught up in saying the thing about the body double, and then they brought Hamlin out to advertise for the big game and for other games as well. Um, Kylie Kelsey, is the wife of it's the wife of Jason Kelsey, I believe, right? KK is what they also call her, Kylie Kelsey. She is 38 weeks pregnant. she will be bringing two doctors that both look very similar with her to the game. So again, you're going to be seeing double. That's what this is all about. You're going to be seeing everything lining up as double, 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 dual symbolism. What did LeBron James score to reach his record? He scored 38 points to reach 38,388, or in other words, 38, 38, 38, 8. That points, and then he became the number one scorer in the NBA. Let me take a pause to see if anybody's got anything that they wanted to mention before I keep pushing ahead. Shout out everyone in the chat: Marcus Speaks, Steph Colonel, Timothy Free, Emmanuel Presley, and Chad Lemoyne. All right, so going forward, one of the storylines in this Super Bowl is Kylie Kelsey, who is 38 weeks pregnant. LeBron James, prior to the Super Bowl all happening, hits his 38 points. He reaches 38,388, or 38, 38, 38, 8. The Knicks, Jalen, put up 38 points last night to win. The Eagles, Jalen wears number one. The day that Patrick Mahomes met with Tom Brady, they were asked about the GOAT. Now, in Gnosticism and in some of the Masonry, you talk about the GOAT, you talk about the scapegoat, you talk about the greatest of all time. You also talk about this ideal of the supreme architect known as Geatu, or the grand architect of the universe, and that symbolism comes within the triangle. So you see these triangles being represented. That's probably something that we're going to be seeing: triangles, whether it's triangle formations, triangle defense, triangle. Think about different triangle elements that they're going to insert, probably within the halftime show. You're probably going to see it. You're also probably going to see that within maybe the commercials. There's going to be something about the triangle that goes into where they were talking about the goat and Giatu, and the symbolism of that being the grand architect's style and compass, and the ruler and compass, etc. So with that being said, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady talk. They talk about the GOAT, the Gato, the grand architect of the universe, or the greatest of all time in sports. And Mahomes said, what did Patrick Mahomes say? Pa and Ma, Holmes, Patrick Mahomes. You think about Ma and Pa. He said to Jalen Hurts, he said, or not to Jalen Hurts, but to Tom Brady, he said, ask me when I'm 38. Again, what's some of the numbers that they're talking about for this game? They're talking about the power of the number 38. They're talking about that was, the LeBron's scoring. They're talking about the number 57. They're talking about 64. So you're getting these three numbers drummed at you over and over and over again, and the media is putting these out there about the 38 weeks pregnant, the 38 points of LeBron, the 38, talk to me when I'm 38, saying Patrick Mahomes. They're comparing Patrick Mahomes to a superhero. They're talking about who is going to be the superhero of this game. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to get back to that topic too. Okay, so along this pattern of the 38, the media also talked about the Suncoast Stakes right before this game. The horse, called Dreaming of Snow, defeated Wonder Wheel in 38-1 odds. The Colts season ticket holder, the season ticket holder for the Colts, has been holding those tickets for 38 years. His name is John Breton, and he was awarded free tickets to the Super Bowl. And he told reporters there, and they're also interviewing him there, a part of the media, and they're bringing up this 38, just like they are with the Twins about the 38 years. He's saying, I will not mind if the Eagles win. The Jill Biden, she is saying that she is a Philly girl. Um, she's older, but so let's get into some of the, just to touch on that gematria of that 38. In gematria, Jalen Hurts equals 38. On the back end, his name also equals 47. 47 means federal government. The federal government deficit is 38.8 billion. Jay Briscoe died recently of AEW wrestling. He died at the age of 38. Let's go back to another Super Bowl. Beyonce was the queen bee in the 2013 Super Bowl. That was known as the Blackout Bowl. And that game featured two brothers as head coaches of opposing teams. That was Jim Harborough, right? And his brother John, I believe, right? That game took place 3,662 days ago on February 3rd, 2013. In that game, you had a bird team winning. You had the Ravens win. Super Bowl 57 is being dubbed the Kelsey Bowl. Prior to that, back let's go back to that Super Bowl. Leslie Jordan recently died. Leslie Jordan was the little short guy with the southern drawl. He was in a bunch of different movies and films, including The Fall Guy, I believe. Leslie Jordan died 112 days ago. He's featured in the Super Bowl 2013 ads. Those ads all featured twins, and he was being fed Doritos by those twins. Um, Getting into this game will not feature twins, but it does feature brothers. So you'll be seeing double with the Kelsey brothers. Jason Kelsey for the Eagles, number is 62. Travis Kelsey for the Chiefs, number is 87. And they're calling this the Kelsey Bowl. Remember, the other bowl was being called the Blackout Bowl from 2013. So I do see kind of this strange connection between these two games and how they're in some way connected between having your queen bee Beyonce for that game and now your new queen bee who's been dressed in all this yellow and black imagery is Rihanna. Now, symbolically speaking, we're just talking symbolism here. We're not talking literalism. It's not going to be literalism I'm talking about. I'm talking about some symbolically speaking. What's good, Sauce and AG? Appreciate you guys for coming through. Jimmy Dots Hotep. We're getting into some esoteric stuff here. Rihanna is symbolically representative of Hathor, the moon cow goddess. Remember in that video that she had years ago with Drake where she spilled the milk when she was at the what was it, the gas station or something like that? Eagles represent Horus, or the eagle, with his large eye being able to see the field and his field of vision being great. The Chiefs are Anubis in this game. They are the underdogs. They're also called the Inpu in the ancient tongue. Remember Rihanna's song is "Oh Na Na, What's My Name? Oh Na Na, What's My Name?" Inanna, Inanna, the goddess of love and summer, is also the conflated deity or conflated goddess Hathor, the cow goddess. So you have Rihanna as the moon and cow goddess figure head, symbolically, of course, not literally, and the Eagles as Horus and the Chiefs as Anubis in this game. Going forward, that's some of the ancient symbolism that can be tied or attached to this. So you have Onana, Inanna, the goddess of summer and love. February is, of course, Black History Month. You have the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. Mahomes can go 6-4 with a win in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid is age 64. 64 in Gematria equals 157. You think the end of that is 57. Chiefs won 42-30 over the Eagles on October 3rd, 2021. That number 42 also applies to the word 64, which 64 also in Gematria equals the number 42. And think about all the great figures that wore that number 42, such as Ronnie Lott, also a Super Bowl champion. The Chiefs are 1.5 underdogs. The Eagles are 1.5 not underdogs. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Mahomes jersey equals 15. In Gematria, part of being attached to workmanship is also a 15. This is Super Bowl 57. 2-1-2 equals humiliation. Patrick Holmes in Gematria equals 62. The word Patrick equals 57, 42. Remember what happened recently with the spy balloon bursting? Spy balloon burst equals 57. Mahomes can have, like AG said, his 57th interception at Super Bowl 57. This is also the 11th matchup between these two teams, and stocks are expected to rise by 11% should the Eagles win. The S&P 500 will post gains, supposedly, if the Eagles can win this. And Jill Biden is saying that the Eagles will win because she is a Philly girl. This all ties back to the number 57 and how that ties back to the government. In the film The Manchurian Candidate, remember the senator came up on the floor and said that there are 57 um, known leaders in the or pinko commies within the government at that time, 57. So the S&P 500 could post gains. Touchdown Wire is reporting that the Eagles will win. E Online reports that the Eagles will win and that you must root for Jalen. And remember, last night there was a Jalen that scored 38 points. Madden 23 has predicted that the Eagles will win. And Drake, the rapper Drake, has placed a very huge bet on this game. And when he had done so in past games, in those past games, he lost whenever he placed a very huge bet. And I don't know the numerical pattern on what bet he's placed out there on there. Andy Reid birthday is coming up on in 35 days. The possible end score then points to things such as 24. Why? Because Kobe Bryant's jersey just sold for $5.7 million last night or today. It just sold that. Kobe Bryant's number 24 jersey. Also, Madden was also saying about the 38. So let's take back just some numerical patterns on that. Patrick Mahomes, the second LVI ring would equal 1110. Chiefs NBA 12th ring would equal, or Chiefs 12th ring would equal 2022. Jason Kelsey Hall of Fame NFL connects to a 66 and a 444. And one of the other storylines that they're going with in this game is that, oh yeah, Sauce is mentioning I haven't said who I think was going to win just yet, Hank. Appreciate you for coming in. Someone had posted something about the script of the Super Bowl, and when the Gematria community and others have looked at that, and we didn't think that that was a legitimate piece of information. We think it might be part of what we would think of as being a psyop or something that was artificially created. And that 37-34 was in there, I think, right? Now, my possible end scores that I'm thinking it's going to be this 38, the number 38. And I think that it's really solid because it also goes back to some of your older games too, and in the Madden score as well. If you add 7 points to that, you would get to the Eagles 38. So what happened over there in Philadelphia is they're calling this the Batman game in a lot of towns and a lot of cities, and they're calling those four headlining players for the Eagles. They're calling them the four Batman. You just had a movie come out called Knock on the Door by M. Night Shyamalan, which was about the four horsemen of the apocalypse of the Bible. And in that movie storyline, you get these four figures, including Dave Bautista and others, that show up at this cabin in the woods. They knock at the cabin in the woods, and you have two male figures raising an Asian daughter. Again, that's the same symbolism I went over from the very start of this all the way into this. When you have these two figures, you're seeing twins, you're seeing doubles. Here in this film, I'm talking about by M. Night Shyamalan called Knock on the Door. They used two male figures, and they were supposed to be raising an Asian daughter. Now, the Asian daughter was symbolically the Antichrist, and those two figures representing maybe an antithetical version of the two witnesses, a backwards version, an unholy two witnesses. You just had the unholy ceremony being played out at the Grammys with Sam Smith. Now, when we're looking at that figurehead of these four characters, four apocalyptic characters, now you're talking about the Eagles, and they're saying that they have four Batman on their team. I want to get into that in just a second. John Brayton, who said that he had the season tickets for 38 years, he also equals 47, which is 47 in Gematria is government. Fat Batman. Fat Batman is what Jason Kelsey is calling himself. Fat Batman equals 57. I mentioned this earlier. Hassan Riddick is the lone cardinal. They're calling him the lone cardinal superhero, and that is what. Oh, get this off of there, big guy. Can't hear with the sound, and you'll make the video unable to be. You'll make the video unable to be. It'll be taken down if they hear that kind of copyrighted music. All right, sorry about that, guys. So Riddick is the lone cardinal superhero. Jason Kelsey calls himself Fat Batman. They're calling this game also Sackadelphia for that group. Philadelphia has been shining green lights down on some of their buildings to signal this Batman symbolism, calling for their Batman to emerge. And this is one of the storylines that I read in the media. This is a symbol, Soto said. That's all it is. Batman got his bat symbol, and we have a fire tower that we're going to paint with, or we're going to spray, or we're going to showcase in green lights. These green lights will be symbolic of the Eagles fire tower and our Batman symbol. So that was a quote from an individual there in Philadelphia. You had Jill Biden saying that she is a Philly girl, so they're going to be shining down these green lights. Remember what just supposedly happened recently with these spy balloons from China? They've supposedly been showing down green lights over areas such as Hawaii and other places. They've been spraying them with green lights, and you're looking at Twitter, and they're talking about Project Blue Beam. So you have this blue and green contrasting symbolism that they're talking about. Let's go back in here and see if I missed anything. We talked about Andy Reid briefly. Andy Reid is called Big Red going into this game, and they're saying if this game takes place with that his birthday is being in 35 days, they believe that that will what will it be? His fourth? I think it's like his number four in there in the Super Bowl. Is it Super Bowl appearances or Super Bowl not appearances, but the win? I lost track of my place there. I'm sorry about that. So you have your Cardinal superhero is Hassan Riddick. That's the lone superhero for them, and then you have these Batman figures in that four lineup with Kelsey being among them. So going into this, I want to say that the Gematria community as a whole is leaning towards Patrick Mahomes to overcome this injury. They're thinking that he's going to have like this outcome where he runs the ball into the goal um, in order to win the game. And I think that I'm leaning towards the Eagles to win because I think that all this 38 stuff, and I could be wrong on it, but we go back and we look at what Drake was betting. We go back and we look at the Madden prediction. We go back and we look at, and I think they're on a like whatever a 16-3 run too, right? Similar to what we're seeing when we're talking about doubles. I think all this is going to point to the Jalen Hurts winning, as well as when we had the NBA player Jalen win last night by 38 points and Kelsey bringing the two doctors with her while she's 38 weeks pregnant. I think all this symbolically is just going to lead to the Eagles winning the game. And that will be me going outside of what the community is picking. The community is picking the Chiefs to win, and they're saying that Mahomes will overcome these things. He'll overcome all of the Eagles' defense and the Eagles' running plays, and that he'll run the ball and that he'll do some of his trick plays. Reed's fifth Super Bowl. Reed is 2-2 at the Super Bowl. I thank you, Steph Colonel, because that's what I was trying to think about. Because some of this I'm just going off the top of the head. Other stuff I got written down. So I appreciate you guys. Knock at the cabin. Yep. So everyone that's come in, I appreciate you guys so much. So I am leaning towards the Eagles to win this game. Um, Beforehand, I was thinking it would be Mahomes and the Chiefs, but after looking at all that weird symbolism, maybe I'm being misled, thinking that it's not going to be Mahomes to pull out some kind of special win. But it's very conflicting the way that they've got everything set up with everything being double double and two and all that stuff. Usually it's much easier to decode it or decipher it than this one. But I think the LeBron James 38 points to reach 38,000 is also pretty cool symbolism. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, go ahead and put them in the thing before I bounce out. And I appreciate everyone who got to come through. I'm glad I got able to do this little stream about decoding because I thought there was some pretty interesting finds that I uncovered. Philly and Casey both on 39th degree. Today's date, we have 312s. There's You also talk about the 57 parallel of North Korea and Korea. Glendale is on a Masonic latitude of 33. So a lot of speaking of Mahomes making a comeback, I just saw a post someone made. It's all the games this season where he came back and won. This is another subject that's a good topic, Sauce. So when we're talking about Rihanna coming out, Rihanna's going to be coming out when it starts getting dark, right? So that represents the underdogs being able to start coming back. So that's when you're going to start. I don't think that there's going to be any points scored very much in that first half. And then I think the points that will be scored for the Eagles. And then going into the second half, what the community is thinking is going to happen, the Gematria community anyway. And I often don't align usually with what they are saying. I usually go my separate way with what they're talking about as a whole. But in this case, they're talking about Rihanna coming out, Rihanna singing the songs, "Oh Na Na, What's My Name," like in Na Na, the Summer Goddess, and the underdogs reappearing, which is like in Egyptian mythology, the Anubis reappearing and able to start beating on Horus, which is the eagles representing Horus in that scenario. So Hank says the final score will be 36 to 33. A pretty good guess. Reed is 1-2 in Super Bowl. Steph 2-2 if they win today. Fourth Super Bowl as head coach. That's good to know, AG. So I think AG, you're going with the Chiefs to win it. Hank, you're going with who to win. Sauce, who are you going with? Guys, let me know in the chat who you got. Who are you picking? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's the Eagles. I don't know if I'm making a huge mistake on this. I haven't got a Super Bowl wrong ever, so we'll see. I could be I could be led astray by all that 38s that the news media was putting out today. I think we'll have some Anubis symbolism sauce. Seems like it. Hank Rasico is picking the Eagles over KC. He's picking 36 at 33. Cool. Chiefs, but I'll take your word for it. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate you being here. Remember, I'm talking in symbolism, not literalism. They're not literally, uh, they're not literally underdog Anubis creatures or any of that stuff. And I also don't take the viewpoint that most others take that when they're saying that everything is scripted and everything is rigged. To a certain degree, I think that that could be some of the case. But you know, my perspective is that everything is guided by God, and that or that overall the universe comes in a predestined or predetermined package in most cases. And I think that because we see numerical patterns align so often, it's not necessarily that everything is always being scripted and coordinated down to the finest minute detail, which would be humanly impossible because humans make so many errors. So I think that there's some nuance to that. Anyway, that's always how my beliefs have been. Hey, Red Rum, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? I believe the Eagles will win. Thank you so much for coming in. I got the Birds by 21. Darius will slay Mahomes with the gain ending interception. So it'll be Mahomes' 57th interception on a 57. No, you're cool. I understand the symbolism. I just wanted to put that out. I think most of us here, I'm preaching to the choir. But in a replay, so in a replay, if anyone comes in that they're not quite sure what the heck I'm talking about, because most of the time we just do the Hotep videos with Canon, and we don't get too esoteric. We just talk literal. And then when I'm doing the other videos, I'm covering a lot of sports cards or something like that. So I don't talk about any decoding of the symbolism. So I didn't want anyone to think that I was speaking in terms of literalism and believing anything, um, taking it, face value. I'm just talking about symbolically speaking. 21 the Eagles. So a lot of you guys are leaning Eagles. That's interesting. So I guess we'll find out tonight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna order some pizza up and get some chicken wings going, and I'll catch I guess HJ and Aquarian Anarchy are gonna be doing a special on whatever kind of symbolism happens during the halftime show and the as well as the what is it the commercials. You know how the commercials always have something weird going on, and the, and the halftime show always has some kind of weird stuff going on. And I put that let me see my post real quick because I wanted to talk for a second about that before I dip out. Um, I saw someone online saying this earlier and they were complaining and they said, I don't want religion during my Super Bowl. So I put my Super Bowl. And I said, yet the halftime and the ads will showcase esotericism, occultism, Satanism, goddess worship, Baal, Ra, Nimrod symbolism, Gnosticism, idol worship, transhumanism, animalism, and much more. So what a lot of people don't realize is that religion, whether it's an esoteric religion or a Christian religion, Abrahamic religion, whatever it is, it all plays a key part in our day-to-day life. Even if you look at the symbol of the medical hospitals, they have the symbol of what's called the Nahuchastan. The Nahuchastan is the bronze pole with the serpent wrapping around it, and that's religious. That's the idea of you hold that serpent up on that pole, that staff, and the people look upon it and they shall be healed. And that was in the ancient period. Well, we still carry that on today in many of our names. If you have the name Michael, Michael, I walk with God. El also being conflated with the Canaanite deity El. So when we're seeing these games like the Super Bowl or the Grammys or any of these other things, a lot of the producers are into some different religions and different esoteric stuff. So it's strange to me. I find it odd, but I also find it a lack of wisdom on the part of the people responding when they say that they don't want to see anything religious during their Super Bowl. You're seeing religious stuff day to day all the time, and you're just unaware of it. And you're also unaware of it, especially if you're watching the Super Bowl and not expecting to see anything. Because, like I pointed out, halftime shows have all this weird symbolism stuff. They'll have characters dressed as angels and demons sometimes, riding bulls and stuff like that. They have entire rituals taking place. And a lot of people see this as just a ritualistic game. Everyone gets caught up in it. They're like worshiping these false idols or even worshiping, idolism, idol worship. People will be worshiping Jalen Hurts and worshiping Patrick Mahomes. It's something that people don't really necessarily catch on to, and I thought that I would just point that out over there on Twitter. Thank you so much. Just turn into love your information, love mom. Thank you so much, mamas. Commercials will have aliens in it. Marcus said, could be. Everyone drink when you see. Brought to you by those who shall not be named. Oh yeah, the Nakistan, also known as the and I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. The Kadekas, right? Um, much love to also. Oh, Ronan, watch the replay. I'm about to head on out. All the military propaganda. See, Hank Rassico is bringing up the military propaganda. So with this one, just like we have the four Batmen, you'll have four women flying over the F-22s. 22 symbolism scene double again. You'll have them flying over the F-22s at the start of this game, and that will be the first time in history that you'll have four women. And then, of course, for the Eagles, they're talking about the four horsemen, the four Batmen. They're talking about that Kelsey, and then Kelsey, his wife being 38 weeks pregnant. It's one of the things they talked about. So, all right, guys, so I'm going to go. There's a good point to wrap it up at. We talked as much as we could on the subject matter. I'm going with the Eagles. I could be completely wrong. If so, it'll be the first time in history of my whatever 23 years of picking Super Bowls or something like that. Pick them correctly every time. But maybe I'm wrong this time. Maybe Patrick Mahomes makes this magical. Maybe Rihanna comes out and it's just like the Blackout Bowl game, and Patrick Mahomes makes this sudden transition into the superhero that they're all waiting for, and he wins the game. It's a possibility, of course. But guys, appreciate you. God bless. Thank you for coming in. Jesus loves you. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Super Bowl ritual watching party and whatever else you're going to be doing later today. Later on.